There are others who are on the call that are aware of those new levels, National 4s, 5s, etc., and are maybe just looking to hear a wee bit more about what ABZ Campus is and the courses that are on offer for next session. So I've got a wide variety of people, and I'm trying to kind of cover all bases. So if there's something that you think that you know about that you don't particularly want to hear, apologies for that, because I realise there could be a bit of background information I might need to give to help people understand what the whole thing is. So I'll try and share my screen if I can do that. I won't see any hands up or anything in terms of people away to ask me questions. So Nick, I'll rely on you to interrupt me or stop me or whatever else you need to do. So I'm going to hope that I can share my screen and get things to work properly from there. Right, so right, are you able to see that? Nikki, do you want to tell me?
That's it now in presentation mode, Mike.
Perfect, that's great. So just to give you a wee bit of background, folks, about myself, I'm Mike Jamieson. My real job is actually Deputy Head Teacher at Bridget Academy in Aberdeen. Been a Deputy Head Teacher there since the year 2000 now, quite a long time. And I'm now currently out on a 2-year secondment as ABZ Campus Manager, and I'll explain just a wee bit more about what ABZ Campus is as we go through the presentation. So I've been involved with course choice in my own school for many years. I was in charge of 5th and 6th year before I came out on secondment, and I've dealt with SQA exam enrolments as well. So a fair bit of what I'm going to be talking about tonight is relevant to what I was doing in my role at Bridget Academy. So what I would really want to cover is a bit of background information to Scottish courses and qualifications, mainly for people who are new to the Scottish education system. Then explain what is ABZ Campus. Some of you might be familiar with the term or have heard about it, but you're not sure what it is. What courses we're currently offering, what we're going to be offering for next session, and if you've got a young person who's coming up to secondary school just now, it's maybe going into 4th year, 5th year or 6th year, you might want to know how your young person can find out more about the courses and how they can apply for these courses. So first of all, a wee bit of background information to the Scottish courses and qualifications for people who are new to the Scottish education system. There is a Scottish Credit and Qualifications Framework, SCQF, or SQIF as some people call it, which really lists or gives you a ladder that shows the level of progression through various levels of ability for courses. And this screen I've got here is really for secondary schools. So level 1 up to level 7. Level 7 would be your advanced higher courses, which you would expecting 6th year pupils to take if they would have that ability. There is a level 8, a level 9, level 10, and those levels would apply to colleges and universities. So in terms of secondary schools, the highest level you would expect a secondary school to go to in terms of level of courses would be up to SCQF level 7. Level 5, if I can just mention that, National 5 courses, if you've got a young person who's going to be going into 4th year, hopefully they'll be achieving National 5, Level 5, and if they're successful with National 5 or Level 5 courses, they can hopefully go on and choose the higher course in their 5th year, the Level 6 course in their 5th year. For those of you who are familiar with standard grades, who went to school and it was standard grades, I've put alongside that how the standard grades would fit in, just to give you an idea. If you remember standard grades, if you were lucky enough to achieve at credit level and standard grade in your 4th year, that's equivalent to National 5, so that's SCQF Level 5 for standard grade at credit level. Higher would still be mainly studied in 5th year or 6th year. You can choose higher in 6th year as well. In terms of university access, the gold standard remains really the higher level. If you're looking for your young person to go to university, apply to university or colleges, it's the highers that are really used by universities for entrance requirements, and that remains the gold standard. And the standard for higher courses now would be the same as the higher standard that would have been the case when you and I were at school. The course content may have changed slightly, it may have been updated or modernised, but basically that level, that standard should be the same for SCQF Level 6. If you've got a young person who's moving through the school, now this might help people who are unfamiliar with the Scottish education system. 4th year, S4, that's when your young person would tend to turn 16. 4th year is the first year they're likely to come across exams that are organised by the Scottish Qualifications Authority, the SQA, who are about to be renamed. So in 4th year, a young person could study a range of levels. Although I mentioned earlier that Level 5 courses or National 5 courses would be what most people would hope to study in S4, it's quite possible that your young person's not able to study a National 5 course, they're not quite at that level. So Level 4 courses, Level 3, 2, 1 courses would probably be available in your school, and the young person could study at a level that's appropriate for them in each individual subject. They can move into 5th year, And again, they would choose an appropriate level of course, and that would include hires in 5th year. And if they chose to stay on to 6th year, again, they can move up to advanced hires, or once again, choose hires, or even more courses at National 5 or even National 4. So there should be a range of levels in school that the young person can choose courses from, which certainly many years ago wasn't the case, because before standard grades there were O grades, and essentially everybody sat the same O grade. Even if you were a high level or low level young person, you could fall through the floor of O grade and end up with nothing. The standard grades allowed young people to achieve credit, general foundation, depending on their levels, and we've got the same system here now with the National 3s, 4s, 5s, as you can see from that there. So again, if you're looking at somebody in 4th year who's achieved a National 5 course, they may choose to go on and study that subject at a higher level in 5th year. And if they've been successful at that higher subject in 5th year, they could go on, if it's available, and choose it as an advanced higher in S6. But as I said, not everybody is able to achieve National 5 in 4th year. So they could achieve National 4 and progress to the National 5 course in S5 and possibly move on to higher in S6. There is no need for young people to be doing hires in S5 for going off to university. They can be doing hires in S6, and that's something I find with a lot of parents who come to this country from other education systems. They come and they expect their young people to be doing hires in S5 to get to university. Sometimes the background, depending on what they've studied in their previous schools, they're not able to achieve the higher in S5, and they can be presented for that in S6 and still get the qualifications they need to go off to university. So there are various options for the young people as they move through the schools in the senior phase, S4, 5 and 6. What is ABZ Campus? Right, that's what I'm really going to try and move on to just now. Back in 2021, in Aberdeen, we had a number of challenges that we had to address, and our secondary head teachers got around the table to look at what these challenges were and how best we try and resolve them. And some of these challenges are listed on the screen. They're staying on rates. We had identified an issue where young people weren't staying on in 5th year or 6th year in comparison to other authorities. There were more young people staying on in their 5th year and 6th year than there were in Aberdeen. Now, traditionally that could have been because of the jobs that were available in the oil sector in the northeast, and a lot of young people chose to leave school at the end of 4th year and move into work in the oil sector. But that's not really as much of an option now as it would have been several years ago. So we've got to try and work out what we can do to try and encourage young people to stay on, and that could be to do with a range of courses that we have available for them. There could be young people who are not able to do hires, but we need to have other courses available for young people in S5 and S6 if they are going to stay on in school, given these options to continue their education. Skill shortage, I think we're all aware of certain industries where there's a skill shortage. Digital, for example, the need to have computer programmers, people to work in IT, there's a real shortage there, as there are in other areas. And I'll come on to mention growth sectors in just a second. So we have a need to be able to upskill our young people coming out of school, to give them the skills they need to move into where the jobs are going to be when they leave. The curriculum, compared to what you and I had at school, I would imagine that for most parents and carers in the call today, it was a fairly traditional curriculum, be it standard grades, hires, etc. The curriculum needs to adapt and change in line with the skills that we now need for young people and the new range of courses that are out there. And I'll come on to mention the new courses in just a second. As a result of changing the curriculum and offering courses that are better suited to young people, we would expect also to see an increase in attainment across the city as well. And one of the big challenges we have is to do more with less. We're all aware of cuts to public sector finances. There's also a shortage of teaching teachers in certain qualifications. There's a shortage of teaching computing teachers, maths teachers, home economics teachers, technical teachers. Schools aren't able to deliver the full range of courses they may otherwise have offered several years ago. So the challenge for us is, how can we still offer a full range of courses for young people with less in terms of qualified teachers in particular subject areas and less funds to work with as well. So we had these areas to look at, these challenges to address. And in terms of growth sectors, I mentioned digital. There are other growth sectors. Industry experts have actually told us that these areas that you see on the screen there are areas where there's going to be a real demand for skills for young people to work in those fields. In life sciences, people qualified biology and chemistry, lab work. Digital, I've mentioned. Tourism, hospitality, early learning, childcare. Energy, we've got the GB Energy Hub, which is going to be based in Aberdeen. Health and social care, I think we're all aware of the issues and problems that we have currently in our health service, be it the healthcare out with hospitals, even within hospitals, the need to recruit more people to work in that area. Construction is another area as well where there's going to be a demand for skills, current demand for skills as well as in the future. There are a number of new courses out there now that suit these skills, or the development of these skills. Courses that don't fall under National 5 or higher or advanced hires that we would have had when we were at school ourselves as parents. But there are new courses which will come on to into the second, National Progression Awards and Foundation Apprenticeships that are being offered by some of our partners. National Progression Awards, this will be new to many parents and carers on the call just now who are just used to having standard grades or nationals and hires in their school. And again, foundation apprenticeships are something new. They are courses that don't have exams at the end of the year, unlike a higher course or a National 5 that would have an exam at the end of the academic year. National Progression Awards and Foundation Apprenticeships have continual assessment, and the Foundation Apprenticeships actually have work experience, work placements as well. So they're a different type of course, but they cover levels from National 2 up to Level 6. So they still cover the same levels that you'd be looking at for a young person to gain entry to university if they wanted to apply there. So as well as a higher counting as entry to university, a National Progression Award, if your young person chooses to do that as a course in school in whatever area or subject, if it's a Level 6 or if it's a Foundation Apprenticeship Award at Level 6, that will still be counted for entry into university. And I've got a little screenshot here from the University of Glasgow just to emphasise that it's not just hires that universities will accept for entry. This University of Glasgow has mentioned there that the NPA qualifications, the first paragraph, it says generally an NPA will be considered as counting towards the SQA higher entry requirements as equivalent to one SQA higher. They're ungraded, there's no exam at the end of the year for NPAs, unlike the SQA higher, but a pass mark in an NPA course will be considered as an equivalent to an A or a B at higher. So if you have a young person who's come back home and says they would like to choose an NPA is worth just the same as a higher, as you can see there at Glasgow. An A or a B is what they're is the same as the equivalence for the NPA and the higher there. And foundation apprenticeships underneath that, they've also stated that a foundation apprenticeship will be accepted as equivalent to one additional higher subject at a grade A, and that's for applying for programs in those faculties there: arts, languages, social sciences, science, life science, engineering and accountancy. I would always advise young people to check with the universities they're applying to, just to make sure there are no specific requirements for specific courses they're applying for. But as you can see there, NPAs and foundation apprenticeships, which are relatively new to schools and to the course offer for young people, will count and are equivalent to hires when it comes to applying for universities. So in terms of ABZ Campus is basically a partnership between the schools within Aberdeen City Council and various partners, including Aberlour Futures, Bonaccord Care, the University of Aberdeen, Robert Gordon's, SRUC. Those partners you see on the screen there have all come together to offer courses for our young people in the senior phase of school, S4, S5, S6, offering courses such as advanced hires, nationals, national progression awards, foundation apprenticeships, HNCs, which are level 7 equivalent to advanced hires, and also we've got university access courses being offered as well, and college certificates either from NESCOL or from SRUC. So our partner organisations are able to offer us or provide us with courses that our young people can choose on top of the offer that they're going to get from within their own school. But how can this work? How can a young person possibly choose a course that might be on offer at, say, NESCOL in Aberdeen, or might be on offer in another school without affecting what they're doing in their own school? One of the things that makes ABZ Campus work is that all 11 secondary schools across the city agreed to timetable their columns of subjects at the same time of day. Now, just for example, if I can maybe focus on Monday and Wednesday afternoon, the green column A that you see there, every school in Aberdeen has timetabled subjects that they have timetabled in column A to come after lunch on a Monday and after lunch on a Wednesday. That means a young person in my school, for example, Bridget Academy, who wishes to choose a subject that's on offer in column A in another school in Aberdeen is able to travel to that other school and study that course at the same time as the column A subjects in their own school are running. So every school in the city has managed to timetable these columns at the same time. So I could have a young person who's going off to study a course in column C at another school, and they would travel to that other school first thing Monday morning, and once they finished the course they would travel back up to their own school ready for the start of the middle of the day. On a Wednesday morning as well, straight to the other school for the subject in column C and back to their own school for the middle of the day. So all 11 secondary schools, by aligning our columns, it allows young people to travel to other schools for courses because the times of those courses fits into the column times back in their own school. And that's how the travel arrangement basically works. The young people would travel from a number of schools to another school or even the college in the centre. And because Aberdeen's transport system effectively works in terms of the spokes of a wheel, and all young people have got bus passes, they're able to jump on a bus and travel from, for example, Bridget into a school in the centre of town, or it could be Nescall who's offering a course, or it could be City Moves who deliver their course there, or it could be Hazelhead. I've had young people at my school, Bridget who will travel to Hazelhead for an afternoon course. They jump on the bus in the centre of town and the bus back out to Hazelhead. And we've actually had travel in schools in Aberdeen now for several years. Over 15 years, I can recall pupils in my school travelling from one school to another, mainly to the centre of town. But now, with courses being available in other schools across the whole authority, young people are actually used to travelling from one school to another for a subject that they may be unable to get in their own school, or a subject that's only being offered in another school in Aberdeen. The courses that we're currently offering, in terms of next year, the range of courses, we've got over 20 courses operating at level 7, and remember that would be advanced higher level or 6th year level or HNC level. 30 courses offering level 6, which would be hires or NPAs at level 6 or foundation apprenticeships. 11 courses operating at level 5 and below. Now that's on top of what schools would already be offering for their own subjects. So as well as the course offer that schools will be giving their young people through the course choice forms, there is this additional offer of courses through ABZ Campus for those courses that you see there. We also have anytime and twilight courses, as we call them, courses that young people can sign up and study out with the school day. They can do them in the evenings, do them at weekends, and that could well be because some of our young people have got part-time employment. They're unable to stay for the school an entire school day. We've got young people who are carers for parents at home, and again can't commit to a whole school day. We've got young people who've got an interest in a particular subject or a particular field, and are unable to do a subject in that area at school or at college, and might find it something that's been offered by one of our partners, SIUC, for example, veterinary terminology or equine studies, a course you wouldn't expect to find in a school. They could sign up for these courses and study those courses in their own time, and there would be a once-a-week check-in with the teacher or tutor at a time that would be agreed with the class that have signed up. So we've got 2 advanced higher courses running just now in Aberdeen, run at Bridget and at Cults Academy for advanced higher history and advanced higher modern studies. And the young people have a weekly check-in online with the teacher, and they then set work to go through for the rest of the week and hand that in and get feedback electronically, and also have that weekly meeting as well where they can either have a taught lesson or go back over the work that has actually been taught in class. So the young people don't travel to schools for any time or twilight courses. They're online courses that can be done at any time, and that's an additional offer to the ABZ Campus courses that you see listed in the top part of that table, where you've got the level 7, 6 and 5 and below courses. So the range of courses here are a list of some of the what I call daytime ABZ Campus courses that we hope to offer for next year. Just to give you an idea, we've got a range of hires, advanced hires. HNC has been run by Nescall. We've got foundation apprenticeships. Foundation apprenticeships, you can see the bottom left-hand corner of that table for accountancy, business skills construction. The foundation apprenticeships all involve work placements, and those work placements would tend to take place on a Friday. We've got over the other side again HNCs in business, HNCs in mechanical engineering, a variety of courses that are being offered by secondary schools and by Nescall and by Aberlour Futures and Bon Accord, and as well as the daytime courses. That, as I said, the foundation apprenticeships there, the work placement on the foundation apprenticeships would take place on a Friday. HNCs would operate all day Monday, all day Wednesday, and on the Friday morning. As well as those offers, the courses that have been offered for the daytime courses, we've got the anytime course offer I mentioned earlier on. A young person that might wish to choose a subject run by SRUC, Scottish Rural College, for a course that they would expect to find in a school. So we've got examples there, such as I said, equine studies, law and access course being offered by the University of Aberdeen, an online art and design portfolio development course being offered by RGU. These are effectively self-study courses with that once a week and check-in that the young people can do on top of, as I said, the courses being offered in their own school and the ABZ Campus offer as well. We've got a range of other courses that don't strictly come under the ABZ Campus umbrella, but there's a range of courses offered by NESCOL that they've offered for several years now called Schools Link courses. And these are courses that can include things such as criminology, introduction to criminology, NPAs, psychology, National 5 psychology, hair and beauty courses, motor mechanics, uniform services. These are courses that we've had offered for young people for several years now. The application process would still come through the ABZ Campus portal, which I'll mention in just a second, but these are additional courses too that young people can choose on top of what they've been offered in their school and through the ABZ Campus offer as well. So if you've got a young person who's found out about these courses or heard about some of these courses through their school's course choice procedure, where can they get more information about it? And how can they apply for those courses? Every school will have school choice, course choice procedures that would take place anytime from December up till probably about the end of February. So if you've got a young person who's maybe in second year, third year, fourth year or fifth year just now, you'll probably find that they are involved in course choice procedures, choosing subjects for next year. They may have just had prelims or estimate exams that will be a pointer towards what they may wish to choose or what they may want to do for next year. But schools will be running parents' information sessions, they'll be running parents' evenings, and they'll be distributing information and literature for you and for your young person with more information about the courses that's being offered within their own school, and also the courses that we're able to offer through ABZ Campus, as well as the NESCOL Schools Links courses as well. Whatever choices your young person makes, you as a parent, carer, guardian should be involved in those choices, and you'd be expected to sign those choices off along with the young person's guidance teacher as well to make sure those courses are appropriate for their level and appropriate for their pathway, making sure we know what the young person wants to do and the courses they've picked are appropriate for where they want to end up beyond school. The choice forms that they would complete listing those courses would be returned to their own school, and their own school will process them in order to produce a school timetable and also to allow the young people to fit into any courses that are being available elsewhere. If they are applying for an ABZ Campus course or an ESCOL course, there is an online application process for that. So as well as writing on their choice form for school what they want to do, including any of these ABZ courses, they would apply online through a portal. So there's an ABZ Campus website that has more information about courses, and there is a link on the website as well which will be used for the young person to apply through that website. Just to give you some figures in terms of young people who've been enrolled on courses this year, as I said, it's nothing new to our young people travelling from one school to another for courses, be that in another secondary school in Aberdeen or be that through our local college. And our local college have got the city centre campus. They've also got a campus up in Altons as well. And it's a fair journey for some of our young people to go to, but they've done that for many years. Currently, as of December, I've got 522 young people who are currently sitting in courses where they're travelling to another school. And that doesn't include NESCOL courses, courses run by the college. So that's a lot of pupils that are jumping on buses and travelling off from one school to another. And the NESCOL numbers, be it the city centre campus or the Altons campus, we've got 690 young people that are off leaving their schools to travel to those centres for various courses. That includes the School Links courses from NESCOL, as well as foundation apprenticeships and HNCs that they offer. We had considerably more young people actually applied. I mean, you're talking here about 1,200, just around 1,200 that table there, but we had a lot more people applied for some of these courses, and they were either placed in waiting lists because courses were oversubscribed, or they may be withdrawn, having enrolled back in August, following a change of pathway or maybe unexpected exam results. Maybe they've done better in their exams than they expected, or maybe they've not done as well as expected, and have had to withdraw from courses courses had signed up for. But certainly the number of applications that we've had for ABZ Campus courses was certainly higher than that table there suggests. That table shows the number of young people who are still enrolled in courses who are travelling to other establishments. Just to let you know in terms of how ABZ Campus is regarded nationally, over the last 12 months, I've taken calls from 7 other local authorities in Scotland who've heard about ABZ Campus, and they've wanted to find out more about it because their authority has been wrestling with the same challenges that we've been wrestling with for the last few years. How to increase staying on rates, how to offer a broader curriculum with a bigger range of courses that's more suited to the young people, that also meets the needs in terms of skills required for the employment prospects that young people are going to have when they leave school. So we've had 7 other authorities so far. I've got another one coming up next week as well that wants to know more about what we're doing in Aberdeen, looking to try and do something similar. We've got a slight advantage in Aberdeen, having spoken to other authorities, in that our 11 secondary schools have agreed to align these timetable columns. In other words, every column A in every school comes at the same time, allowing young people to travel to another school for a course that exists in column A elsewhere. Other authorities haven't yet got those columns aligned, although it is something that they're now looking at doing to try and improve the options available for the young people. We've also got the benefit of the geography where Aberdeen City does allow young people to travel to other schools a lot more easily than some other authorities where there's a bit of travel involved. And some other authorities have therefore been looking at the online offer, which we do offer as well through the Anytime courses, but they're also looking to offer some online courses that the young people can do based in their own school that may be taught and delivered in other secondary schools. And that's something that I would maybe hope we could tap into. So as well as our own offer for Anytime courses, I'd be quite keen to work with other authorities to see if they could offer even more for our young people by tapping into courses that are offered in other authorities. So that's really a kind of summary of ABZ Campus in terms of how it works. As I said, we've had travel for a number of years now where young people have gone from one school to the next, and young people have gone to other schools for various courses. Quite often it's because it's a course that they can't get in their own school because maybe the numbers are too small, or they don't have the staff in their own school. Somebody might want to do advanced higher computing, there are no compute teachers in their own school, or the class is too small for it to run, so they'll travel to another school. We've built on that, and we've now got columns aligned across the entire school week, and therefore able to offer more courses involving more partners that allow the youngsters to have a greater choice of courses that is probably more suited to their level and what their future aspirations and pathways are. And that's all I've got to share for just now.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Mike. I'm actually going to stop the recording now, so that people can ask their questions. I've actually got a question